Good afternoon, family. Thanks for checking out today's broadcast. If you are new here, my name is Jonathan, and I created this channel as a way to record my progress as I work towards my goal of losing 300 pounds in 3 years. If you'd like to join the family, hit that subscribe button down below. Also, click on that bell icon so you'll get alerted when I go live or post new videos. If you'd like to participate in on the discussion, you can join me on my live streams that I do most weekdays, or outside my live stream, you can consider joining a Discord that I created. There is a link for that down in the description below. Also, if you're interested in getting an idea of some of the foods that our family enjoys on our whole food plant-based diet, there's a link to a Pinterest board in the description that has a lot of our favorite recipes in it. Today is day 597, 3 days away from 600, which would put me at like 10 months then, huh? So, 3 days away from 600. I have used a combination of extended water fasting and a whole food plant-based SOS free diet to lose over 215 pounds so far. I have about 17 months left to go and a little over 80 pounds to get to my goal weight of 220 pounds. If anybody has any non-scale victories they want to share, I'd love to hear your non-scale victories. I'd love to hear your on-scale victories. If you are struggling to get started with a diet or struggling to stay on track, let us know what's going on. Maybe we can figure out something that can help you out. And if you are looking to get back on a diet, what are you going to do to make staying on your diet easier than the alternative? Gonna switch over here to the main page here. Carrie's checking in saying hello, Carrie. I hope you're having a great day. Pretty Girl's mom, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon to you too, Pretty Girl's mom. I hope you guys all had a great weekend. It was Father's Day weekend here, so we had lots of family time this weekend, and the weather was perfect. Really, both days for being outside and getting stuff done. And let's see, I'll go over the food, I guess, that we had throughout the weekend. There was a lot of different things that we enjoyed. So let me get this going and hope that it, stop. Let me try it again and see if it works here. Let me pull up the first one here. I have some photos I'm not going to show too. So Stanley From says happy Father's Day and hello Stanley From. I hope you're having a great day and you had a good Father's Day as well. Let's see. Let's hope it pops up. So dinner Friday night, was this polenta with beans and mushrooms. I love this dish. It's one of the newer dishes that we've added to our diet. I had a lot of this and it was just so good. I love taking it and just mixing it all together and getting some great flavors in there. It's really overall one of my new favorite dishes that we've been eating since in the last month or so is when we made this for the first time. I think I did take a second photo. This was the second serving. There's a lot of food there. I was hungry, and so I ate a ton of that for dinner on Friday. And then some snacks that I had over the weekend here. I got a couple photos. Is my shredded wheat with some raisins and soy milk, and another snack that I have been eating quite a bit of recently. And it probably, if anything's slowing down my weight loss, this might be it. But Carrie has been making some sourdough. So this is sourdough with a pretty generous amount of the Primo's spicy habanero mustard on them. These aren't like huge pieces. They're actually on a really small plate, so it makes them probably look bigger than they are. But I've been snacking on those as well and enjoying them. And then I think I got some pictures of oatmeal here. Yeah, this was the oatmeal that I had for breakfast. And I think I might have taken 2 photos of the oatmeal. One with the no salt, Kirkland's no salt seasoning, and then the other one it's mixed in. So really have been enjoying the oatmeal still. It just never gets old. And I've really gotten that feedback from a lot of people that when they eat oatmeal for breakfast, they feel like it doesn't get redundant or their diet doesn't get boring, and they seem to continue to enjoy it. I really enjoy it. The oat groats and the steel cut oats is kind of a mix that we usually do, and I like it a lot over the rolled oats that I'm used to having. I never would have even known what steel cut oats or oat groats were had I not started this diet. I really had only ever had oatmeal from rolled oats, like in the instant packs and things like that. Let's see. On Saturday for lunch, I tried something that I had not had before. Carrie said that Dr. McDougall had something similar to this for his birthday meal. And what this is just some baked potato with a mango salsa mixed in with it. It was really good. It was just a nice filling snack to have, and the salsa had a great flavor to it, and mixed with potatoes. I think it would also be good if you mixed it with rice as well, if you didn't want to do it with the potatoes. I think I got a couple photos of that in here. And then probably a picture of Saturday's dinner, which was the chickpea tikka masala. It had been a few weeks since we had the chickpea tikka masala, and we decided to have that for dinner on Saturday. You know, one of my favorite dishes that we've had since we started this diet. There is like coconut milk or something in it that isn't the best, but we really like that. And I've always, anytime we're looking for something easy to make, it's, either mega veggie chili or it's this chickpea tikka masala. Linda McNamara is saying happy Monday to you too. I hope you had a great day and a good weekend. Let's see, what other food pics can I show you guys? So that was Saturday's dinner. Sunday morning, Father's Day, had a pretty good sized breakfast, had another bowl of the oatmeal, again, same oatmeal that we always have. And I decided, or Carrie made up some pancakes and waffles. So I had a waffle with a little bit of date syrup on there, and then some frozen fruits that we let thaw or defrosted. And it's really good. I don't eat a lot of this variety of fruit, the raspberries, the blueberries, and the strawberries. And they were really good. Redhead Goes Healthy says, hey, everyone. Whoa, those waffles look great. Yes, they are really awesome. And Carrie has a great recipe for them. So I really enjoy the waffles that we had on Father's Day for breakfast. Let me see. I got a few photos of things I'm not going to post up here real quick. Let me go through and find another. Okay. So Father's Day, we ended up getting together with my extended family at my parents' house. And I did not take a photo of the portobello mushroom caps. Carrie says that if you want the recipe for the waffles that we had, they are on our Pinterest board if you wanted to check that out. Let me pull this up now. So I didn't get a picture of the portobello mushroom caps that we had for Father's Day, but Carrie had made this mix of vegetables, just some regular mushrooms chopped up, zucchini and onions all mixed up together. We just baked them in the oven, and just a great mix. And this bowl is actually a very large bowl. It's hard to get the perspective of this one versus the the other one there. So I think that is, oh, you know what? I probably have today's photo from breakfast, and I can show you guys another photo of our oatmeal because that's what I had for breakfast today. So, and so that was breakfast on this morning. So that's really a rundown of most of the food that we had over the weekend. The only things that I can think of that I didn't take photos of was any fruits that I had, some oranges. I don't know if they're going out of season, but it seems like the last 2 bags of oranges that we've gotten have not been awesome. They've been less than haven't been as good as for a couple months there. It was really awesome. And then the last couple bags haven't been as good. And then we did end up going to Costco and picking up a bag of the dehydrated mangoes that they have there. That's still one of my favorite snacks to have, but I have to be careful because I definitely could overeat some dehydrated mango. So I've had to limit myself. And I've actually heard other people say that they've taken those bags of dehydrated mango and separated them into like serving size bags and then put them in the freezer so that anytime that you want to take a serving of them, you just grab 1 serving of them, and then you actually have to let them thaw out so that you can eat them, which I thought was a neat idea. I'm not going to do that, but if you're looking to limit yourself on the dehydrated mango, that would be something that you could consider doing. So we did, like I said, get together for Father's Day weekend, and it was a great event. You know, great to see some of my family members I haven't seen for a while. We have a new baby in the family, so it's always cool to see the baby and get to hold it. And I really did good with food. Like I kind of said before, a lot of the foods that they are going to bring, you know, my family brings, aren't going to be anything that I would be tempted to eat just because I've been so committed to the plant-based part of my diet. And then we just made sure that we brought enough food for ourselves, me and Carrie, with the portobello mushrooms, that big bowl of mushrooms there. And then also eating before we went. I think that is going to be a big factor in being able to resist all those temptations, because you get there and there's, you know, plates of food everywhere. And the only thing that I really saw that I would have had in the past that, you know, was tempting to me, but I was able to resist. My mom had a container of like those spice drop gummies. They're like, if you've ever had orange slices, but then these are like smaller, round pieces covered in sugar, that my kids were getting into those. And I was a bit tempted by it, but I was able to resist the temptation. Like I said on Friday, for me, a big thing is that I want to be a good example for my family, because I feel like my family, there's a few family members that could benefit from changing to a diet like this, or being a little bit more conscious about what they're eating. And I don't want to give them the wrong impression, because I feel like it's so easy to go to an event after you've been losing weight or after you've lost weight and kind of be like, well, I'm doing good, I'll let myself go on this event. And for you personally, a lot of times, you know, you could survive it. You could have something that was off diet and then go home, get right back on your diet and not have any problems. But those people that you're trying to influence, they don't see you going home and getting right back on your diet. They only see what you're doing in front of them. And so if I would have eaten some of those spice drops, then in their head, they could have come to the conclusion, well, John's on a diet and part of his diet allows him to eat these spice drops, so they must be okay. And like I said, they don't see that I'm not eating that stuff daily, you know? And so I was able to stick to the diet, be a good example, and really didn't miss out on anything. I think that that's what people really worry about, is that they're going to miss out on something. And, there wasn't anything there that if I would have eaten it, that would have made my day better. I think that we rely so much on food for, I feel like we've been psychologically trained to think that we need to rely on food for joy, because that's what these industries want us to believe. Stanley Frum says it's better to resist the temptation. Yes, it is better to resist the temptation. And they've talked about it. They talk about it a little bit in the Pleasure Trap book. And what they talk about is when you go to a social event, how if you go to a social event and you have an aunt or an uncle or a cousin or whatever, a relative that makes a dish that is off diet, or it's a dish that's, their lasagna or whatever, or some sort of, some sort of dish that they make for every family occasion, or they make it as part of, and Pretty Girl's mom says, like Lay's potato chips, nobody can eat just one. Yes. So you go to an event that has your extended family or whatever, a group of people there, and there's somebody that made something that was off your diet, and they try to get you to eat it because, it might be just their nature, or they might be they might be subconsciously pushing things on you because they feel, because a lot of times, again, this is when I read The Pleasure Trap, this was the first time that it really dawned on me, but they aren't worried about you so much. They're worried about how they look in comparison to you. So if you're sticking to your diet or you're resisting, it shows that they don't have that willpower to resist because they aren't resisting. Carrie said, like her aunt's Alfredo. That was the thing I was trying to think of the name of. Yes. There's, and so they may try to push this food on you that isn't on your diet. And they may be well-intentioned. They may not be well-intentioned. Either way, when you get presented with that, you have to find a way to deflect it, or they talk about in that book to use the seems to argument. And it's that if somebody tries to push something on you or argue with you, you just be like, well, you don't give any definitive, like, oh no, this diet's the way you have to eat. This is the only way you're going to lose weight. You have to kind of deflect it and be like, well, this diet seems to be working for me now, and I seem to be on a roll with it. So I don't want to screw up what I have going on now. And you, like I said, you don't make it sound like you're criticizing them for making their food choices. You just deflect and make them know that you're deciding to make these choices for yourself. And what they talk about in the book, though, is that when you run into these temptations, if you resist them, that's the best you can do. If you don't resist the temptation, if you give in to that temptation, so your aunt's pushing you to eat the Alfredo that they made, and you finally give in, you'd be like, fine, I'll have some of the Alfredo. I'll try it out because they pressured you, or just the fact that it's there, your mind pressures you into doing it. You do it that time, you eat it. A couple things could happen. It could ruin your diet. It could kick you out of, the routine you're in, or the groove that you're in, or you go back and you get right back on your diet the next day. But then 6 months later, you go to another family event and your aunt makes that Alfredo again and then tries to push it on you again. You lost your power because you didn't resist it the first time. So then you go to the event and they can use that against you. They could be like, well, you still look thin and you had it last time. And so then you have to go through this whole argument again, where if you can show the strength to resist it, then it's easier the next time you come up with it or come up against it. And the place where I have the hardest time with that is when I go to movies. Like if I go to a movie with my kids, just for me, over the years, movies have kind of always been a place where it's a kind of a way to get away, and I've had soda at the movies since I started this diet. And so every time I think about going to the movies, I have this mental kind of fight with myself about whether or not I'm going to be able to go to the movies and resist having a soda again. And if I would have just never allowed myself to have the soda the first time, then I wouldn't really have to go through that mental struggle like I did, like I have to every time I go. And so, and also you have that confidence if you are able to resist the temptation that you survived it the last time. Well, I went to the movie theaters, I didn't have a soda, and I survived. So that means that I can go to the movies and I cannot have a soda and I can survive. So for me, like Stanley Frum says, it's better to resist the temptation and not have to deal with that mental struggle every time you go to a family function or a family event. So the event went great. We got to hang out, and like I said, I had a great time without eating the cheeseburgers and the hot dogs and the potato chips and all the other stuff. I had plenty of options that we brought ourselves. We had lots of fresh fruits there. It had been a while since I had some grapes, so I had some grapes, and I'm trying to think, there was some pineapple maybe was in the mix, so just some fruit. And overall, it was a good time. So that was a big chunk of my weekend. I came to work today and got some work done. And it's kind of an odd day because it's government holiday, so there's not a lot of work going on in my building, but I still came in to get some things done, and I'm glad that I was able to do that without having any other commotion or distractions around me. Was nice as well. I'm trying to think if I have much more to talk about today. I have a time limit. I was told that I can't be late getting home today. We have some events going on tonight. My daughter's doing a musical theater class, summer camp thing once a week that happens on Mondays. I think it's just Mondays that I'm going to have to get home for that. But Carrie says, yeah, you do. I got on the scale this morning. I was up a little bit from Friday, but I wasn't up a lot, which is great because I do feel like I had eaten quite a bit. That polenta that we had Friday evening, there was a large volume there, and just throughout the weekend, I had a full stomach all weekend, which is really just the best part about this diet, is that I'm able to eat large quantities of food that are filling, and they aren't going to, they don't like, Carrie talked about this last week with me. It's just crazy to eat large volumes of food and not just feel like dragged down or feel crappy after eating it. And, we talked a little bit on Friday about the cram. It was cram cycle or cram, something cram. I can't think of the second word that Dr. Lisle talks about. And I think that maybe that talking about that made me think about cramming food in throughout the weekend. And I know that if I would have eaten that volume of food that I ate this weekend, but it had been a higher calorie density, that I would not be as happy with the scale today as I ended up being. So it's really driving me nuts. I can't think of the second word from the cram. I don't think it's cram cycle, or it's cram something. Cram circuit? Is that what it was? Oh my gosh, this is going to drive me nuts. I'm just going to look it up. I'm sure it's in my search history. Cram circuit. It is cram circuit. So, but I almost feel like talking about that caused me to overeat when I went home that night, just because I really feel like it explains a lot about our physiology, that we are a species that evolved from people that had food scarcity. And anytime they saw food, they ate as much of it as they could because they didn't know when their next meal was going to happen or what. And so all they knew was that they had food in front of them right now and they had to cram as much of it in. Pretty Girl's mom says it was circuit, and oh, sorry if it was a problem. No, it wasn't. It wasn't a problem at all. I feel like I've been eating that way for 18 months. Every time that I cram it in, I tend to lose weight. Like that was the weirdest thing that I've had happen throughout this whole thing. Like I can specifically remember a day that I went home and we had brown rice pasta with marinara sauce. And I was like, oh man, I ate too much food last night. It's going to be a problem. And I went in the next day and I hopped on the scale and I was a pound lighter than I was the day previously. And it just doesn't, I just couldn't believe it. Like it was just a shock to me that happened. And I think that also what happens is we don't realize that the food in our digestive system has a weight to it. And so like if I decided right now to fast, I would lose 4 pounds tomorrow, or, by the end of the day tomorrow or early on Wednesday, just because I would have 4 pounds of less of fiber and food in my stomach. And it wouldn't really be a 4 pound weight loss. And with this diet, because I'm always full, I don't ever, like that's never an issue, or that's never a, last Wednesday when I weighed in, I had a full stomach and full intestines filled with food that my body was digesting. And this Wednesday I'll go and it'll be the same way. And it's just, so that way it's a constant. And so like for my birthday, when I got under 300 pounds and I fasted for those 4 or 5 days before my birthday to get under the 300 pounds, it was kind of a false reading on the scale, because the second I went home, I put 3 pounds of food in my stomach, and that became what my weight actually should have been if I would have weighed in with a full stomach of food. So it wasn't a problem. I enjoyed looking it up and learning more about it, because I feel like if they were to write that book again, that they would include more about the cram circuit in the book than they did the first time, or with the original book with the motivational triad. This week is going to be mostly normal. I'm not going to be streaming on Friday, but I will stream tomorrow and Wednesday. I'll do my weigh-in, and then I should be streaming on Thursday as well, but I will not be streaming on Friday. We're going out of town for a family weekend. It's like a reunion where they go to a campground and we do a float trip, and it's a fun weekend. And it's going to take a little bit of preparing, though, a little bit of getting things ready. Father's Day is one thing, but that's just a couple hour event. This event this weekend is going to be a 3-day event that we're going to be in, outside of, we're going to be down south of St. Louis. So we're going to be very far away from home, and we'll have to make sure that we bring plenty of food, or we have access to food that fits our diet while we're down there. Pretty Girl's mom says that you hear they're coming out with a new edition of the book, The Pleasure Trap, in another year or so. If they do come out with a new edition of it, I will definitely be checking it out. I know that the Dr. Lisle and Jen, I don't know her last name. I think her first name is Jen, though. They've been writing a book about the ego trap, from what I understand. So that's that's another book I'm interested in checking out, because I've listened to the lectures that Dr. Lisle did on the ego trap, and it makes a lot of sense. And it really breaks down the psychology of things in a way that I hadn't really thought of before. Carrie says, rumor has it your mom's going to make us, our spinach and mushroom oatmeal each morning. So we can start out each day right. That would be amazing. If we had that. We'll probably bring our own Instapot down with us as well. Just so that we could make up some potatoes, because we're actually going to stay in a hotel room and not camp out because of just logistics. Getting everybody down there is a feat in itself, because we have 4 kids and a dog and a small vehicle. So bringing any extra camping gear, and we're going to be bringing camping gear because my older kids are going to camp, but we're going to stay at a hotel just because we're fancy. And then Pretty Girl's mom says that they're going to update and expand it. That's it. Yeah, I would be interested to see what they add, because there's a lot of information that I've heard both those doctors talk about since this book that would be great additions to the book itself. But like I said, I'm actually kind of looking forward to seeing what they do with the ego track. Let's see. Pretty Girl's mom is asking, how long do we cook our oatmeal in the Instapot? I don't remember how many minutes. I only know that we let it sit for 10 minutes afterwards, because I can't let it vet for 10 minutes or else the world will end. But I'm not sure. Carrie will probably chime in here and let us know. It's not very long though. It's maybe 10 minutes that it even cooks, but I'm sure she'll chime in here. But yeah, I did a video on the ego trap in the past where I've talked about it. 11 minutes, exactly 11 minutes is what you got to do. You can't do 10 minutes. You can't do 12 minutes. Got to be exactly 11 minutes. The ego trap. It's just such a neat concept. If you get a chance to YouTube ego trap and Dr. Lisle, I would check out his speech or his lecture that he's done on it. It really kind of speaks to the mentality of getting into a diet, because yeah. And then also, if you search my videos, I couldn't do it justice in the couple minutes I have here to talk about it. But I think it's a neat concept, and I think that we fall into the ego trap a lot of times. And it's important to recognize it and make sure that you avoid it, or like I said, at least recognize that you're in it or you're dealing with it. Like I said, I don't have a whole lot more time to talk today, but I do appreciate everybody checking out my stream today. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, get subscribed to the channel. Click on that bell icon so you get alerted when I go live. Also hit the thumbs up on the video today. Help that YouTube algorithm out, and just help spread the message and let people know that you can lose weight. It's not it doesn't have to be as difficult as it seems like it had been every other time that I've lost weight. So, and if you haven't started your diet yet, get started right now, guys and girls and everybody. There's nobody that reaches their goals and looks back and says they wish they would have waited. Everybody looks back and says they wish they would have started sooner. I'm the same way. I wish I would have started this channel sooner. I wish I would have started dieting sooner and sticking to it, And so get started right now. Don't fall for the 2 myths of moderation, the myth of moderate change, the idea that you can slowly change your habits and eventually you'll go from eating this crappy, highly processed diet to eating a healthy diet slowly. We try to trick ourselves to think that we can do that. I'll start eating salads before my dinner, and then eventually I'll be eating healthy in 3 weeks. It just doesn't work that way. You eat the salad, and then you go and you eat just as much as macaroni and cheese as you were going to eat, or just as much of the other crap that you were going to eat. You just had salad beforehand. And then the other myth of moderation, the myth of moderate consumption, the idea that a little bit of something unhealthy is okay. The idea that you can have something that, it doesn't work anywhere else. Nobody says to an alcoholic, oh, as long as you drink in moderation, you'll be okay. Or, as long as you have a little bit of crack, it's okay. It just doesn't work that way. And the diet's the same way. The idea of a balanced diet is a narrative that these food industries have been trying to push on us. And it's not true. Why would you want a balanced diet? Why would a balanced diet in its means that you're eating just as much junk food as you are healthy food? That's how it balances. It shouldn't be a balanced diet. It should be heavily weighed in on the health food side. There should be nothing on the junk food side of the scale. And or the idea that you can eat a smaller volume. I've tried it so many times and I've lost weight for a couple months, but it's never long lasting. Your body will fight you tooth and nail to start bringing the volume back up because your body doesn't know that you're going to have another meal. Our brains are wired to eat as much food as what's in front of us right now because we don't know when our next meal is coming. Even though we can rationally decide those things, it's not something that we evolved from. And so the idea that you can eat half a plate of food, you go to a restaurant and have them box up half of it and you take it home in the to-go box. And then, you might be able to do that for a few weeks. And then eventually you say, well, you know what? I don't need to do that anymore because I've lost a few pounds, or you convince yourself to go back to eating that higher volume again. And when the calorie density of the food is so high, it's an impossible struggle that you're going to go up against. So I'm going to get out of here today. Everybody, thanks for checking out the broadcast. I hope you guys all have a wonderful evening, and I will talk to you tomorrow.